I've been streaming on a laptop for the past 2 weeks and nobody could tell any different. Hey guys, my name is Rage Darling and this is the ASUS ROG Strix Scar gaming laptop. ASUS and Nvidia reached out to me a couple weeks back asking whether or not I'd be up for testing their laptop for gaming and streaming. And owning an ASUS ROG Strix Scar laptop myself from the previous generation, I obviously said yes. So it was with a proud smile that I say to you that this video is sponsored by ASUS and Nvidia, but as always, the opinions are my own, utmost and honest. So this beauty is the ASUS ROG Scar Strix 17-inch 360Hz gaming laptop, and it is an absolute beast. Puts my tiny little 15-inch to shame, that's for sure. Okay, I still love you. It's big, it's powerful, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at it. It's kitted from top to bottom with RGB, it's got an inbuilt mechanical keyboard, it's got a Ryzen CPU which is perfect for streaming, and an Nvidia GPU which is also the perfect companion for streaming as well. It's also got some brilliant gaming features which I'll show you a little bit later on in this video. I've been streaming and gaming with this laptop since the start of June, and I kid you not, no one has been able to tell any different. I bet that if it wasn't for the fact that I had to legally disclose that the stream was sponsored and then show the laptop off on stream, no one would have known. Now, is that a good thing? Well, considering my specs look like this, with an RTX 3080 Founders Edition, a Ryzen 7 5800X CPU, and 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, yeah, I would say so. This laptop alone has double the amount of RAM that my dedicated streaming and gaming desktop does. It has 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, which is just insane. Now, I know that laptop RAM isn't something that you easily upgrade like a desktop RAM is, so it kind of makes sense to start with the amount you're going to be happy with in 10 years' time, but it's just insane. And I am incredibly jealous, I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of jealousy, this laptop has a Ryzen 9 5900HX. HX. It's just incredibly powerful. And for funsies, while I was planning this video, I decided to quickly Google a benchmark comparison between my 5800X CPU, which is my recently upgraded CPU, and the 5900HX, because everyone knows that laptop CPUs aren't as powerful as desktop CPUs. So I was sitting pretty comfortably knowing that the laptop CPU was no competition, and what I saw wasn't what I expected. I quickly realized that my expectation of my desktop CPU absolutely trashing all over the laptop CPU wasn't reality at all. Yeah, not what I was expecting. One thing I do feel pretty happy about is being fortunate to class myself as an RTX 3080 owner, given the current situations of GPUs. But the fact that this laptop has a 3080 GPU inside it is amazing. Although this is a RTX 3080 laptop GPU, it still packs in the same brilliant Nvidia features as its desktop counterpart, giving you high frames even with ray tracing and boosted ray tracing enabled. It's also worth noting that this is a Max-Q laptop, so it's thin, fast, powerful, and quiet, so I can literally stream with this without any noise from the fans. In fact, my chat pointed out that they could hear fans from a computer and asked me, Rage, is that the laptop? To which I had to take my headset off, listen, and realize that that atrocious blowing noise wasn't coming from the laptop, but in fact, my PC. I should really clean it. Honestly, you would be disgusted if you saw the state of it right now. Max-Q design hits a great spot between powerful GeForce gaming and a sleek design, so I can have this laptop sitting comfortably on my desk or rest it on my lap. It also means that it has the third generation of Max-Q technologies and uses AI systems for optimizing, including Dynamic Boost 2.0, where the AI networks balance the power between the CPU and GPU, and now GPU memory, depending on where it's needed the most, which means it's constantly optimizing for maximum performance. Whisper Mode 2.0, which is where the AI-powered algorithms manage the CPU, GPU, system temperatures, and fan speeds to deliver the great acoustics at the best possible performance. Resizable Bar, where the advanced PCIe Express technology enables all of the GPU memory to be accessed by the CPU at once, providing a performance boost in many games. I can also take advantage of DLSS and Reflex, which helps boost gaming performance even more. The specs of this laptop alone makes it an enjoyable gaming experience, but bundled with the Nvidia technology, just makes it even better. For example, with supported games like Control and Wolfenstein Youngblood, you can switch on DLSS, which is Deep Learning Super Sampling. When it's turned on, it generates beautifully sharp images by filling in the details with AI, and in turn boosts your frame rate. This makes playing with ray tracing enabled a much more enjoyable experience because you're getting a beautiful picture whilst also increasing your performance. Nvidia actually did a really good job of showing the difference between DLSS on and off, and did an easy to understand introduction to DLSS, which I definitely recommend you check out if you want to learn more about it. I'll insert the link in the description below. Nvidia Reflex Low Latency is also a really good mode to turn on when you're playing competitive FPS, like Apex Legends, for example. I use this a lot during my stream. Traditionally, frames would wait in line to be rendered by your GPU so that you would get the best possible performance, but that increases your latency. So what Nvidia Reflex Low Latency does is it dramatically decreases the render queue by keeping your CPU and GPU perfectly in sync with each other. And it means that frames are read pretty quickly, which, as you can imagine, is great when you're in a competitive scene or even esports environment. Nvidia again actually showed a really great video of a peaker versus holder advantage with low latency mode on. That explains it way better than I could, and it's a great way to explain to someone why low latency mode is actually really handy. But you could have all of the kit in the world that you'd need to win, but if you don't have the skill, well, you're just generally gonna have a problem there. What you shouldn't have a problem with though is your viewing experience, as the screen has a 360Hz refresh rate. I recently upgraded from 60 to 144, and I tell you what, I thought the jump was massive. But gaming on a 360Hz monitor has been an absolute blessing. I refuse to go back to my 144Hz. I want 360. It just looks so cool. The high refresh rate is just such a delight to play on. Everything looks smoother. I noticed smoother animations during executions on Apex, and it felt like I could aim properly when sniping, almost like the visibility was better compared to my desktop monitor. I even said out loud to stream, like, I felt like I could do more in the game because the performance of the game itself was just so good. While we're on the topic of looks, I need to mention the RGB on this thing. It is incredible. This laptop has RGB on the front, back, and bottom. It has an RGB bar that illuminates the surface that it's on, which looks amazing. Obviously, I know that RGB isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it's my cup of tea, so I really enjoyed this. I have red and blue RGB in my background to symbolize the Horde and Alliance, so I could completely customize the RGB to fit perfectly, having red on the front or blue on the back, or blue on the front and red on the back. You get the idea. And with ASUS Armory Crate, it's really easy to do this. It also syncs all of the ASUS peripherals, and I own the entire pink peripheral set, so if I wanted to, I could pull that out and have ASUS Armory Crate sync everything together. But I think that showing you pink peripherals might just tarnish the hardcore reputation that I've spent the last 5 minutes building with you. Did I mention the RGB syncs depending on what game you're playing on? And you can change the display look to what type of game you're playing. So RTS RPG for World of Warcraft, that'll boost sharpness and color, and FPS for Apex Legends, that enhances dark scenes, making it easier to see enemies. I just thought that that was a really cool inbuilt feature that I often have to replicate with a program on my desktop. The incredible performance of this laptop can also be tweaked inside ASUS Armory Crate with a bunch of preset options, which I've played about with during stream. It changed my CPU, GPU, and fan settings. You have a silent mode, which is perfect for when you're browsing the internet or playing some less demanding games. And as you can see, it's changing the diagram to display exactly what's changing. You have performance mode, which is your standard gaming preset. That's the one I use the majority of the time while streaming. And you've also got turbo mode, which is incredibly loud and traditionally is only really used for benchmarking, but I used it on stream. It wasn't too loud, to be fair, and it did actually boost my frames by about 40 to 50. But for most of the time, I kind of just kept it on performance mode. I did try it on silent mode, and I realized that although it was very silent, it did cap my frames at 60 FPS on Apex Legends. Now, that wasn't a total hindrance, but it was something that I noticed, and given that this is a 360 Hz refresh rate screen, I didn't want to do that, so I kept it on performance mode for most of the time. You also have manual if you want to play about with the settings yourself, but then you'd be much more knowledgeable than I am, so I'll just leave you to that, but just know that is an option. This laptop is an absolute beast. It feels and performs just like a desktop inside this 17-inch portable machine. I can stream from it, I can browse on it, I can edit on it, and it really puts my dedicated work PC to shame, that's for sure. Especially for the price as well. This laptop retails are about $3.5 grand for the top spec, so you do get a big bang for your buck. And if you're looking to get your hands on the next generation of GPUs alongside some killer specs, then this might be one for you. If you're thinking about maybe picking up this laptop, then there's a link in the description to the laptop on Scan Computers, and any purchases you make gives me direct support, so thank you for that. I also gave my chat the opportunity to change the way that the game performed for me, turning off the Nvidia features like reflex and turning down my field of view and making my settings go all the way low. The results for that were really interesting, and I'm actually going to make a video in the next week basically just summing up my experience. There were some absolutely atrocious plays, but also some really good ones, and for the first time ever, I was able to play Apex Legends fully maxed while streaming. Not something I'm able to do with my desktop PC, because what I tend to find is I max the settings out on my desktop PC and then try and stream. It's just not very happy. But I was able to do that while dual streaming on this laptop, which I was really happy about. So the ones where I was high max settings, I was getting the kills. The ones where I was low, not so much. But look out for that video that's coming in the next few weeks, and I hope you enjoy it. A big thank you to my sponsors, ASUS Republic of Gamers and Nvidia, for making this video possible. It has been an absolute joy to play on this beast of a machine. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to follow me on socials at RageDarling, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!